Lastly, because I just needed to give you a small brief of the assignment you gave me as the President of Kenya. Lastly, it matters to create jobs for our young people. And you know, jobs don't happen. They are as a result of deliberate, intentional policy decisions. That's how you create jobs. That's how jobs are created everywhere in the world. So we have 4 pathways that we intentionally decided we are going to pursue for us to get young people. As we invest in education, we must also find pathways for them to be meaningfully engaged. So number 1 is our housing program. Many people ask me, wewe, nani alikuambia tunahitaji manyumba? Si kila mtu uko kwake. Simulisikia hiyo story. Who told you? But let me ask you, good people, sindio? If you look at the manifestos of all parties for the last 30 years, housing was a permanent fixture. Housing, my friend, former Prime Minister, alianza the first slum upgrading during the Clan Coalition government hapa. Indio? Because housing was part of the plan then. Jubilee Manifesto, for those of you who are in Jubilee, among the big 4, one of them was housing. In this last election, hii election imepita, manifesto ya Kenya Kwanza ilikuwa na housing. Manifesto ya Azimio ilikuwa na housing. Complete with 1.5% levy. Ilikuwa kwa, go and read the manifesto ya Azimio. Sasa, sisi wote tunakubaliana, this is something what we must do. And we must do housing for 4 reasons. Number 1, we have 7 million people living in slums. Urbanization is a reality we must live with. The future is urban. Whether you like it or not, by 2050, half our population, half the world's population, including that of Kenya, will be living in cities. So either they come to live in cities, in slums, or we begin to make sure that there is decent housing. So, na hii housing tulikuwa naye tangu zamani. So when it came to Jubilee, mimi na Uhuru Kenyatta, my boss, tukasema we must implement this thing. Tukapitisha sheria, tukapanga ile mambo yote. Kwanza my friend Uhuru akaniambia, I have a very good person, a very good professional, ako South Africa, anaitwa Charles Hinga. Tuende tumtafute. Tukaenda tukamtafuta huyu Hinga, tukamlete. Tukamfanya PS housing. Tukasukuma gurudumu, tukaenda bunge. Kila kitu iko tayari. Levy ikaanza, kelele ikaanza. Sasa kelele. Sasa one morning Uhuru akanipigia simu, William, kuja. Yes, Bwana President. Akaniambia, wewe, siwe uko na nyumba? Nikama Bwana President, mimi niko na nyumba. Sasa hii kelele yote hii tunapigiwa, hii ni ya nini? Kama watu hawataki hii mambo ya housing wakwende, wacha hii kitu ipotee. Housing ikazamia hapo. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Shida, last election, manifesto ya Jubilee ya Kenya Kwanza, housing. Manifesto ya Azimio, housing. Si ndio? Si mimi nimekakuja nikasema, wacha ni hii kitu imetusumbua muda mrefu. Let me be the one to bail the cat. Si ndio? Housing ndio hiyo, tumepitisha, wabunge wamenisaidia wamepitisha, kila kitu iko tayari, levy ndio hiyo. Kelele. Zakayo, kotini, sijui wapi, maandamano. Lakini mimi nikasema, acha watu wanifanyie maandamano. What is the problem? We must do this thing. Kama namna gani, my friends? Si ndio? Because transformation is not easy. Transformation is not a walk in the park. Transformation is not necessarily popular. Ama tunakubaliana namna gani? So, nimekaa ngumu. Ndio hiyo housing take place. Kotini tumepelekwa, tunajaribu kukatakata kuona huko na makotini. Makesi mingi. Leo, friends, we are building 170,000 houses in Kenya. 400 markets are being built. 172,000 units of hostels in our universities, TVETs, and Kenya medical training centers are underway in Kenya. 320,000 young people are working. By end of this year, we will have 600,000 people working. By end of next year, we will have 1 million people working. Architects, quantity surveyors, engineers, plumbers, technicians, artisans, electricians, masons, name them. The whole industry around cement production is up almost double. Steel production is up almost double. Transportation and everybody in between. Our economy today is recording strides because of affordable housing. Today they are feasible. I challenge you, those of you who live in Nairobi, go to Mukuru, go and see. Go to Kakamega. There is no town in Kenya today that affordable housing is not the largest estate. From Mandera, Kitui, Machakos, Nairobi, Kiambu, Embu, Nyeri, all the way. I was in Kisumu, I was in Homa Bay, go to Migori, go to, my friends. And what you are seeing today is just work of 1.5 years. Explain to me, in 10 years, in 20 years, I promise you, you will not recognize Kenya. Yes. Nyinyi mnanielewa? That is what is called transformation. Sasa nyinyi, kama ningepigiwa kelele, nifanyiwe maandamano, niwachane na hii program ya housing, how are we going to transform this nation? Explain to me. How are we going to change this nation? Tuendelee tu na ile mambo ya zamani? Niendelee tu kupigiwa makofi so that ni watu wafurahi? What is that? Mnanielewa? And I am talking to you this way because you are intellectuals, you understand what I am saying. You can see what I'm saying. Today, we are going to sign here an MOU so that teachers can get 20% of all the housing we are constructing in Kenya. Yes. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Tuko pamoja? Walimu. So, listen. That is how we change a nation. That is how you change a nation. Number 2, we are working on making sure that apart from creating jobs in this space, and my target is that we will create 1 million jobs in this space, we must create another 1 million jobs on our digital platform. Digital jobs is another avenue. We are currently rolling out fiber optic infrastructure in Kenya. We have done 24,000 kilometers. We want to get it to 100,000 kilometers. We want every ward, unanisikia? If you go to Tatu City, Kenda Tatu City, I was there last year. Na nilienda kufungua one building that has 5,000 young Kenyans working for American companies from Ruiru here. They are working for American companies, digital jobs from Ruiru here. We are rolling out fiber optic because we want an ICT hub in every ward in the Republic of Kenya. And I will tell you, that is what it is. We want to roll out. We can also create 1 million jobs already from places like Tatu City and all the ICT hubs and the Jitume hubs. We have already 180,000 young people monetizing their talent, earning money in the digital space. We want to create 1 million of those young people in the digital space. Number 3, because of teachers and because of our teaching, we have the best human capital anywhere in the world. Foreign companies, if you give them a choice between hiring a Kenyan and hiring any other person, they will want to hire a Kenyan. Why? We speak good English. Kenyans require very little supervision. You know? This is information foreign companies are telling us. We have the right work ethic. Wakenya ni watu wa kujituma. And that is why I am proud to be a president of Kenya. You know? Najua watu wa Kenya ni wa kujituma. Kazi yako ni kuzuia tu wasipitishe ukiwaambia barabara ni hii. Utaenda mbele tu kuambia hapana piga kona. You see? So, what is happening? So, many people began to take advantage because many companies are looking for Kenyan workforce globally. So we had these recruiting agencies. They realized that there is an opportunity. They began to take advantage. Unakuta mtu amechukuliwa pesa yake, unaenda Saudi Arabia, unakuta ile kazi uliambiwa sio hiyo. Unaenda mahali ingine, unaenda unadhulumiwa. Unaenda mahali ingine, unaenda unaumizwa. Ile pesa uliambiwa utalipwa, unakuta sio hiyo. So when we came in, we straightened what we call National Employment Authority. Tukafukuza hawa employment recruiting agencies, almost 1,000 of them, that were crooks. We have streamlined that space. We have streamlined the registration of recruiting agencies. We have signed bilateral labor agreement with countries where Kenyans go to work. That bilateral labor agreement gives us the knowledge. Now we know any Kenyan who is going to work in UAE, Saudi Arabia, Germany, France, America, wherever, Austria. Now we know what job are they doing, how much money are they being paid, and we have refused in certain instances that if you are not paying this amount, we have a minimum. We are not going to allow a Kenyan to go out of the country to go and earn 5,000. We have a minimum pay that we demand from those countries. If you have a job to work outside, we have created a green channel. If you have a job, a letter of employment in a foreign country, your passport takes 2 to 3 days, you have it. We have created a green channel. As a result, because you have heard me keep talking about export of labor or labor mobility, Africa is going to provide the largest workforce globally by 2050. Because other countries have aging populations. So between 2023 and today, 2 years, 430,000 Kenyans are working abroad. Every month, We send between 7,000 and 8,000 Kenyans every month. We know their names. We know where they're going to work. We know how much money they're going to earn. And we know when they get into trouble how to get them back home. I told you, jobs are as a result of deliberate government policy. They don't just happen. We have to organize policy and direct resources in the right place. Today, those who cannot afford to pay a ticket through National Youth Development Fund, we can now advance them money, which they pay within 6 months, for them to buy tickets, them to pay whatever they want to pay, go work abroad, send us money, grow the country. What has happened? We have increased foreign remittance by $1 billion. It was 4 billion in 2022. This year, it was 4.9 billion US dollars. Ni mnanielewa? Because of millions of Kenyans who are working abroad and they are sending money back home. It is the reason why our reserves at central bank are growing. Good people. I was talking about jobs. Jobs because of housing, markets, hostels, jobs through digital jobs, jobs using export of labor. These are deliberate intentions, and we can quantify how many people have gotten jobs. It's no longer a game of guesswork. I have told you this story. Now I'm going to tell you one kidogo, because I want to persuade you as intellectuals that this country has tremendous potential, and we can change this country from a third world to a first world in our lifetime. That is the conversation I want to have with you. Yeah? And I want to give you a context. Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea were at the same level of development, more or less, like Kenya in 1963. In fact, let me specifically, and I want you to go and read. Take some time. Read about South Korea. South Korea in 1963 was exactly like Kenya in terms of education. They are an agricultural economy like us. The level of education was like ours. Their GDP per capita was actually 78, Kenya's was 80. Were the same in 1963. Today, South Korea, their GDP per capita is 20 times that of Kenya. Nyinyi mnanielewa? 20 times. Our GDP per capita is 2,200 US dollars. Theirs is close to 40,000. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Malaysia, Singapore, and I invited the president of Singapore, alikuja kunitembelea hapa 2023. They were almost at the same level with us. Today, Singapore has 95%, almost actually 98% of their citizens are homeowners. Kenya, 7 million people are living in slums. You see the difference? 98% of their citizens are homeowners. Where to 7 million are in slums. Forget about home ownership. Home ownership ndio hii sasa tunapanga na affordable housing. Singapore was a slum like Kibera yetu hii. Watu walikuwa wanapika pombe, wako na nguruwe hapo, wako na kuku mbili. If you see the pictures, if you see the pictures ya Singapore, it is exactly Kibera. Today Singapore is in the first world. Their GDP per capita is 156,000. Yetu ni 2,200. Ni mnanielewa? What is the difference? Leadership only, nothing else. Leadership ndio imeleta hiyo difference. And I'm talking to leaders here today, you. Mnanielewa? I'm talking to you as leaders. We can change this country. China moved from being one of the poorest countries in the world to the second largest economy in 30 years. Why am I telling you this? I am trying to persuade you that it is doable. It is doable. You are the intellectual community of Kenya. If Kenya is going to change, you are the agents of that change. My friends, teachers, this is the reason I called you here today. Because we, as the leaders, we are the ones standing between Kenya, between today and Kenya being a first world country. We are the reason. Whatever it is that we do will determine whether Kenya becomes first world or Kenya continues to be a third world. And if you had any doubt in your mind that this is doable, let me give you some examples of what is possible to be achieved if we make the right decisions. Number one, those countries have learned the practice of savings. China's savings as a percentage of a percentage of GDP is 55. Kenya's percentage of savings as a percentage of GDP is 10. Which means everything we get, we consume. We forget that there is tomorrow and there is the day after. Mnanielewa? It is so bad that we tried in 2016 with my friend Uhuru Kenyatta. We said we must change this because we are embarrassed. Even our neighbors, just imagine, good people, Uganda is half our economy. Sindio? Uganda is half of the economy of Kenya. But they have 3 times, maybe 4 times, a bigger national security fund than Kenya. Why? Because for 40 years, tumekuwa tukicontribute shilingi 200 kwa NSSF, 200 shillings. Mtu ana earn 50,000, 200 shillings. Mtu ana earn 100,000, 200 shillings. Mtu ana earn 200 shillings. Na contribute 200, employer ana contribute 200. Uganda, 20 years ago, they changed the law. Employee 10%, employer 5%. Tanzania, they changed the law. Employee 8%, employer 7%. Ni mnanielewa? Today, Uganda has a bigger social security fund than Kenya. They have a bigger savings kitty than Kenya. Tanzania, which is 60% of our economy, has a bigger social security fund than Kenya. In fact, Tanzania social security fund is building at 23, I don't know, 24 building here in Upper Hill. Mimi niliulizwa niende nianzishe. Ni mnanielewa? Sisi tuko pale kwa 200. That is why when I came into office, unajua tulipitisha sheria because we had said, let every employee contribute 6%. Let the employer contribute 6%. And all that money becomes the money of the employee. We passed the law in 2016. Rafiki yetu Atuoli akatupeleka kotini. Ikakwama kotini. Ikakaa huko kotini, left, right and center. Wakati siku karibu tumkamate, akafanya njama, unajua ni mtu mwerevu. Akakuwa rafiki ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Sasa kutafuta njia kwa ngumu. Akakaa hapo. Sasa Mungu ni nani? Si mimi nimekuwa rais? My friend, sikuchelewa. 2 weeks nikaita Atuoli, hebu kuja. Tukaketi chini na yeye, habari mzee, namna hiyo mzuri Sasa wewe hii kesi iko kotini. Unataka tuendelee ku 200 for how long? Do you know the damage we are doing to ourselves? Other countries are making progress. Sisi tunaenda kukopa pesa China because we have refused to save our own money. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Atuoli akawa mzee mungwana, akanisikiza, akaniambia nimekubali. Kesi ikatoka kotini. Kila mtu sasa analipa 6% NSSF. Employers wenu wanalipa 6%. Do you know what? Let me give you the statistics now. From independence to 2013, we had raised 320 billion. From independence to 2023, hii ya juzi, not 2013. And I want you to mark the numbers. From independence to 2023, we had raised 320 billion. In the last 2 years, we have raised another 320 billion. We have doubled our 60 years of savings in just 2 years. By end of next year, actually by 2027, we will have 1 trillion shillings at NSSF. Tell me what is going to happen in 5 years. Tell me what is going to happen in 10 years. Tell me what's going to happen in 20 years. The net effect, we will not be borrowing money from China. We will be borrowing our own money, doing roads, doing water, paying our own people, growing our own economy. What am I trying to tell you? I'm trying to tell you it is possible. You know, kuna mtu amekufa hapa kwa sababu amecontribute 6% to NSSF. Many of you even are not aware I am the one telling you. Mnanielewa? That is how you change a country. Look at what we have done in housing. I'm just giving you, let me give you 3 examples. Why I believe we can move this country from a third world to a first world in our lifetime. What have we done in NSSF? I've just given you the numbers. Look at what we have done in housing. Today, we have issued contracts for markets, for hostels, for housing, worth 600 billion. 600 billion. Not money borrowed from anybody. Our own resources. That whole housing thing you see, not a single shilling has been borrowed from anywhere. If you had asked me to go and look for 600 billion shillings to come and do housing, ningetembea na magoti in all the towns and all the cities, and I would not get it. Taenda Marekani, wende NSSF, ile ingine inaitwa ni IMF, wende ingine inaitwa World Bank, you will not get it. But look at what our own resources, from our own money, look at what we can do. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Look at what we have done in health. Do you know how much money has been made available in health? From our own contributions in SHA, we're going to have something like 90 billion every year. From our own resources in equipment, we have mobilized, we have designed innovative, creative mechanism of delivery of equipment. We are now taking equipment to hospitals worth 200 billion shillings. Not equipment we have paid for, equipment we have structured, how they are going to deploy their own equipment, we pay them for service, and we make sure that we deliver health. So we are mobilizing close to 300 billion shillings, using our own money, using our own intellectual capacity to deploy and to provide health to our citizens. Look at what we have done in education. Look at what we have done in roads. Today, we are moving all the road contractors that had stalled back to the roads. Why? Because we used our own creativity. With these members of parliament, we securitized some of the revenues we had. We raised 175 billion. We are on the road raising another 120 billion. We will have 300 billion shillings to do roads in Kenya. Money we have not borrowed from IMF or World Bank, our own resources. Good people, I am telling you, it is possible for us to change this country in our lifetime. And I want to persuade you, and this is the reason why I called you, as intellectuals, I want to persuade you that we agree that we can change, we move Kenya from third world to first world in the next 30 years. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Nyinyi mnanielewa? If South Korea could do it, we can do it. If Singapore could do it, we can do it. And we have demonstrated, I have shown you that it is possible. Hii makelele tulikuwa tunapigiana hapa na maandamano, you can see the results in housing. You can see the results in education. Why are we hiring 100,000 teachers? Other administrations did not. Why are we deploying universal health coverage when it was difficult the other day? Why are we rolling out housing when it was difficult the other day? Why are we transforming our social security savings, doubling in 2 years when it was not possible the other day? I just want to persuade you, it is not about William Ruto. It is about Kenya and us and changing our country for the sake of this generation and the generations to come. Friends, marafiki, sijui kama mmenielewa. Mmenielewa? Na hii sio siasa. Forget about politics. Politics is small, hiyo ni maneno kidogo. We have a whole country to think about. We have the future of our nation to think about. We can stop, we appeal to everybody, And I can tell you 3 things are important: leadership, education, and we must stop corruption. Kenya will change in our lifetime. And I have every intention to do my bit. I'm asking you to do yours. I'm asking you to help me. Let us work together for us to change Kenya. Sijui kama tumeelewana, my friends. Mimi nawaomba kwa unyenyekevu. And I called you here so that we can begin to discuss, to have a conversation about this Kenya. The possibilities that are available in Kenya. This is the most non-tribal gathering. This is not about a political party. This is not about a political side. This is about Kenya. And shortly, I want us to have this conversation as a country. This is a conversation I have had with former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. This is a conversation I have had with my friend Uhuru Kenyatta. Because we must stop partisan things, sectional, It is possible for all of us to do well. Nyinyi mnanielewa marafiki zangu? Please, good people, this is why I called you. Yeah? I really wanted to have this conversation with you. To tell you, and I wanted to have this conversation with you now. Because if I had this conversation with you 3 years ago, you would tell me housing is not possible. You would tell me universal coverage is not possible. You would tell me reforming NSSF is not possible. Nikasema wacha kwanza nianze na makelele na nini na maandamano, lakini ili nikiwaita, you are witnesses of what is happening. When I tell you we can transform our education sector, we can hire 100,000 teachers, musiniambie mbona wale wengine hawakufanya. Now you know it is possible, don't you? You know it's possible. Ama namna gani? Because it's been done. And that is why I have big difficulties, because we have a disconnect. Because citizens are accustomed to things not working. So that even when they work, they still want to believe they have not worked. You know? Ndio unaona hata saa hizi bado tuko na viongozi wengine wanasema watakuja ku abolish housing. Oh, tutakuja ku abolish universal. Yani ujinga. Yani you have no better plan. You don't know how to move the country forward. Unataka kuturudisha nyuma. You know? So really, marafiki, I really wanted to talk to you. I told you, I want to talk to you as a leader, and I want to talk to you as citizens and intellectuals of the Republic of Kenya. That is the conversation I want us to have. We are going to move this conversation forward. We will not believe the naysayers. You know, there are many people who are negative. They never see anything. Oh, tumesikia hiyo. Oh, hiyo ni uongo. Oh, hiyo nini. You know, those things. But you see, we can change this country. And I have great faith that we can do it together. Tunaelewana? As the lawyers say, I rest my case. Nimemaliza. Sawa sawa ndugu zangu. Asanteni sana, tuketi. Now, let me come to si nilikuwa na lesson plan. Wacha nikuje sasa